AMP2.tv presents Tell Us Your Business, where you're invited on the air to tell us what makes your business stand out in the community. It's important we hear from you to tell us all we need to know about what you do best. Tell Us Your Business uses the latest radio and television production systems, and all shows can be seen on AMP2.tv. If you have a question for our guest, call 888-565-1470. Now, let's get ready as our guest hits the airwaves and informs us about what we need to know on Tell Us Your Business.
Hi, good evening. This is welcome to Tell Us Your Biz. This is MJ. I'll be your host this evening, Procopio. I'm a volunteer guardian at Lightum, and we also have...
I am Diana Reese. I am with Speak Up for Kids and their program Foster Palm Beach.
We're with you for the next 30 minutes this evening, so please call us at 888-565-1470 so we can take your questions on how to foster for our foster kids here in Palm Beach County and to volunteer for the GAL program, the Guardian at Lightum program. We're here to take your calls, so please give us a try.
So let's start off talking about, tell me your story. How did you first get involved? Like, what prompted you to become a guardian at Lightum?
Thanks, Diana. I became a guardian at Lightum first in Arizona in 2002. And there it's called the CASA. You know, it's the same thing. So CASA is Court-Appointed Special Advocate for Children, Abused and Neglected Children. It's something I've done my entire life since I've been around 13 and was babysitting.
Oh.
And then just started volunteering. And when I heard about this program, I loved it. I went through the rigorous training of it. So for all of you that don't really know, you really have to go through a lot of training. It's well worth it. But the children are in our hands, right? And so we really have to have background checks and everything. And I just became so involved in it. When I moved to Florida 10 years ago, I got involved with it here. I figured out where the closest courthouse was and became a guardian at Lightum here. So I've been doing it here. And for anyone that's not sure, they're in every county. So I'm in Palm Beach County. It doesn't mean if you're listening and you're in Miami-Dade or Broward, it's all over the place, everywhere across the country.
It's done by Judicial Circuit. And so in Palm Beach County, it's the 15th Judicial Circuit. But I run into a lot of people from the 19th Circuit, which is St. Lucie, Martin, Okeechobee, and Indian River, and then Broward, which is the 17th. And so it's the same program. We're always happy to direct you. I work with a program called Speak Up for Kids, and I'm a volunteer guardian ad litem. So Speak Up for Kids is a nonprofit.
How did that come about? Because I met you later from Speak Up for Kids, which I started getting emails from the court about raising funds with a nonprofit that would help with the Guardian program. So how did that work?
Well, I've been a guardian since 2010. So I was like you. I heard about the program actually at a fundraiser for cats. I was at this fundraiser, and the keynote speaker of all things was a young girl who was a product of the Florida foster system, Ashley Rhodes Quarter. And she wrote a book called 3 Little Words. And so I was so moved by her talk that I had to get the book. And then once I got the book and read it, I signed up for training immediately, and I've been doing it ever since. I found so much passion in helping these kids. We act as another set of eyes and ears. For those of you that don't know,
right,
we're volunteers who act as another set of eyes and ears for the court. So a child comes into the foster care system through no fault of their own. There's been alleged abuse, abandonment, or neglect by the person that's supposed to take care of them. And if the Department of Children and Families gets involved and finds there's enough risk, they either open up a case and watch over them, or sometimes they have to remove the kids. And when they remove the kids, they enter the foster care system. And
right. So
one of the many components is the guardian ad litem.
So you do both. I just am a volunteer with Guardian at Lightum. I work, and run different businesses, and but I still commit to this because we're the voice, we're that non-biased third party that will be that child's big, huge voice in the court system.
Exactly.
So I do that, and it's a lot, but I love it. But you do both.
I do
So
both.
you work at Speak Up for Kids? Is that what you do? Or you
Well,
write for
I
both?
found so much passion in taking on cases, but it's 10 to 15 hours a month per kid or per case. So I realized that I needed to volunteer in the office. That's how it started. I started volunteering in the office because I wanted to help more kids, but I couldn't do it myself. There's only so much of me to go around. And then I started recruiting for the Guardian Ad Litem program just as a volunteer. And then eventually I thought, well, maybe they need a little infrastructure. So I took a state position and worked there for a little while. I did a good job doing that. And then I moved over to the nonprofit because we needed more funding. Because I had recruited a lot of people along with my other co-recruiters. And so we needed some more funding. So I moved over to the nonprofit to help grow that. And that is, the nonprofit is Speak Up for Kids. And so
How does someone get a hold of and involved in that with Speak Up for Kids? I know there's a lot of events because I get emails on those
Yeah.
for different events and charity events, and some are very, very like luxurious events, right? Like once a year or something. And,
we have a fun one coming up.
right. And so
the No
is-
Place Like Home. It's based on the Wizard of Oz, and we suggest that people wear their red shoes or a red tie, it's going to be a fun event.
And how did they get a hold of that?
So that's Speak Up for Kids, pbc.org. It's Speak Up for FOR Kids, pbc.org, stands for palmbeachcounty.org. And then the Guardian Ad Litem program, that is GALPBC.org. That's 561-355-6224. And then I also am involved, as you know, my passion moved from helping raise funds through Speak Up for Kids over to finding homes for these kids. So when kids come into care, if there's not a relative or a friend to take care of the kids, they often end up in the foster care system. There's not enough homes here in Palm Beach County, and so we need people to open their hearts and open their homes and take in these kids. There's 1,100 kids currently removed from their parents right now in the foster system in one shape or another, and another 600 who are still with their parents.
And that's just
under
Palm Beach
supervision.
County.
That's
right?
just Palm Beach County. It's higher in Broward. And when there's not enough homes, siblings are separated. Kids are ending up in group homes like the little 7-year-old I was telling you about that I keep crying about. There's some little kids that are in shift care group homes that it's really bothering me. And so I find my passion, and I'm going to ask you right now, have you ever considered fostering? I know I ask you that. You travel way too much.
Yeah, I travel too much.
I ask her. She's telling me she has 2 babies.
And my one son is like having 10 children. So, yes.
Well, what's one more? I mean, really, if you're going to have 10, what's one more? Or 2. But we have
Yeah.
sibling groups being separated like that. And so Speak Up for Kids, seeing the need, because part of the whole advocacy for, as you know, for a guardian is their emotional, physical, and their emotional well-being, their physical well-being, and their health, their medical. And these kids need stable homes. And so Speak Up for Kids was able to write a grant to create a position, and we started Foster Palm Beach, which is fosterpalmbeach.org. We make
How
it
long did that?
easy.
When did that come into play? Do you know?
Well, I do know.
Okay, good, because I don't know.
On
those.
September 15th, we got an email saying, congratulations, your grant has been awarded. And on October 1st, I was hired to start up this
How long
program.
ago was that?
October 1st last year.
Okay, good. So they're adding more programs for
We are
that.
adding more programs. And the goal for Foster Palm Beach, I want to spend a minute talking about it. So there are a lot of people. I've been out and about everywhere, on the news, on radio stations like this, putting flyers up everywhere, at events, talking anywhere to anybody that will listen. And what I have learned is that there are people out there who've been like, oh, I've always thought about it. They don't realize there's a need. I was at the gym the other day, and I was talking to the lady for a little bit and found out she was a teacher. So, of course, I'm like, oh, have you ever fostered? She's like, well, actually, I was just thinking about it. And so I said, well, you know, there's a orientation coming up. She just missed the one at Place of Hope. It's coming up again next month. But every week there's different orientations, including, for those of you that are interested, on Wednesday there are 2, one at 10 a.m., or excuse me, one at 9 a.m. and one at 6 p.m. at Camelot Community Services. And
Where is
that's
that?
in Green Acres.
Oh, okay.
And then next Wednesday, the 4th, There's at National Youth Advocacy Program in Royal Palm Beach, there's one at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And if you are looking to do it, their Saturday class actually starts that following weekend. So the process would be to become a foster parent is you would go to an orientation. I call it a 1-hour info session. It's a little less scary. We go over the details.
So it's only an hour?
For the initial one. And we go over, it's like going through the interview through the Guardian. We go over the details of what you need to do to become a foster parent, the training involved, the background checks, the home studies that are done. Then the next step, if you want to move forward, is to start your training. And you start filling out this mound of paperwork
Now, do
and
you
going through the
have to
background
be-
process.
Can you do it could someone do it as a single person?
Yeah. You can be single, you can be married, you can be a renter, you can be a homeowner, you can be a same-sex couple.
As long as the children have that separate, right? They're separate, like their sleeping areas,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's part of the home study. There's a big, long home study. It's all about the safety of the
About
kids.
how long does it take normally from beginning to end with no hiccups in it for someone?
The average is 4 to 6 months. My record for someone that I recruited was 98 days. But most of them I see are running about 150 days. It just depends. Depends, like, for example, if you went to the orientation on Wednesday and started your classes on Saturday, well, you might be in that shorter time frame. But let's say you couldn't start your classes on Saturday, then you got to wait for the next one to come up. But in the meantime, you're doing your background checks. A lot of times they like to get those background checks started because it's a lot of resources. And, sometimes people, they just aren't truthful
Do
when
they
they fill
have
out the
the
paperwork and
same-
it comes up in the background and they can't continue.
So, like on The Guardian, when I did The Guardian, they had, now I don't know if it's the exact same, but you go through 40 hours of training, right? But before you're even start that and accepted, your background check and everything. But I also had to get personal and like business references.
Absolutely.
So those sometimes can take longer because you're constantly asking your sources, can you please hurry up and get that to me? Can you get me that letter? Can you get me that letter? Mine took 3 weeks to collect from everyone.
Yeah. Well, they're going, so yes, they do. It's more thorough than just being a guardian because these kids are going to live in your home. And so they're going to be self-generating some backgrounds and things like that. I used to work in security years and years ago, so it's a little bit more on that thorough side. As it should be, because it's all about the safety of the children. But the biggest thing that we're looking for is people that care. So if you can't become a foster parent, you could become a guardian ad litem. Or some people say, well, I don't really have 10 to 15 hours a month. There's a mentor program, and that's through Children's Home
what's
Society.
the 10 to 15 hours a month for?
That's the average time of a guardian case. So an average guardian does 2.2 kids. They advocate for 2.2 kids per year. That's just the average. And it's an average of 10 to 15 hours a month is what we say. It just depends on the case. Like if you have a younger child, they're going to take probably a little less time, especially if they're, in
newborn
with a,
to 4 or something.
So, but if you have a teen, I think, if you have a teen that's placed with a family member, they're probably not going to need as much help as the teens that I've started working with that end up in those group homes. And they don't have anyone else. And so, you're dealing with kids that have phones and, it's just, you go out and you see the kids a minimum of once every 30 days. You talk to therapists, doctors, schools.
Go to the school, look at their records.
Yes.
And I keep in touch with my guardian throughout the week. So we do text or we'll call.
Yeah. When you start working with teens, you always do.
Yeah.
You go to plays. You do all kinds of fun things with them.
Yeah,
I was
I
teaching a
just
3-point turn the other day.
I just saw my guardian child on Saturday, and we had a great time. And at the end, when I took her back home, she was so happy. We had so much fun that she really was like, when can I see you again?
Aw.
So I normally spend more than once. I know the system tells you you have to do 1 visit a month. However, everyone I know has done more.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're working with the teens, you almost take on that mentor role. But they have, for the people that can't make that kind of time commitment, there is a mentor program through Children's Home Society. It's a 1 hour a week, minimum 2-year commitment. And the reason they ask for that 2 years is it takes time. These kids have had
And
people
those
in
are the
and-
certain ages, though, right? Or
Well,
no?
there's Project 18 that is 13 to 18, but they have a younger one too. I was talking to Brenda about it the other day to make sure she's still managing those. And she does. And so, but you get to do fun things with them. That's not about advocating in court. Of course, you're going to be a mandated reporter if you see anything, but that's about like going to a baseball game, going to an art show, going on a college tour if that kid is getting ready to go to college. Just giving them life experiences. I take some of my kids, they all do volunteer events with me because, it's all about exposing them to what normalcy is. And along those same lines, let's say you have a 7-year-old. So you're going to go see that 7-year-old, but guess what? Maybe that 7-year-old, you might work to through Speak Up for Kids to get a normalcy thing funded. Like maybe he wanted to go to some special basketball camp or some special violin for classes. You can go and you can watch them at their events, and they want to be celebrated.
And that is, what is that program again?
Well, that one's mentoring. That's Children's Home Society.
So there's so many different divisions through this. Through like myself, I just stay with the Guardian ad litem. It fits into my extremely busy lifestyle that I have, and I am gone almost every month for long weekends or whatever. So that works with me, and I'm still able to see my guardian. So anybody really can get involved. So anyone who's out there, really, if you want to call in and you have any questions, please call us at 888-565-1470. You can be so busy and really still give to see them once, especially like, if they're in a really good home situation, which some of them are, and it's kind of a, a dice game there, and some are not. But like for myself, I make some phone calls and some texts, and I take her out a couple times a month, and that really helps so much. And then I do a lot of things behind the scenes that I try to help her with. She's working on, she does work right now, my guardian, and she would like to get another position. So I helped her with her resume, but I really just told her some bullet points and had her type it up, and she sent it to me. And now I'm going to help her, actually fine tune it. So all of those things are still things that you're doing with them. You might not be out with them, but you're helping them. You're mentoring them. So anybody can do it. They really could. If we just need more volunteers, we need foster people, and we're representing Palm Beach County. But if you're in another county and you're listening, don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
We just both happen to live in Palm Beach County, so we represent Palm Beach County. And myself, actually, I transferred also from West Palm Beach Court down to Delray because I live closer to Delray. It was much easier for me because some of the children's cases that I had, what happened, I had a case of 4 children, and they all were separated then because, there's just different things happen with these cases. The 4 children got separated. 2 went to Miami, 2 went out to Loxahatchee or whatever, like Belglade. It's just too far to be able to see them. So then I transferred my cases because of where I live. Another thing that they try to do to help you as a volunteer to make it easy on you is to work in an area where you live that's closer for you.
Unless you're crazy like me.
Right.
And I just stay with my kids. I have been, we're talking about teens. I want to switch up a little bit because you and I obviously both have a passion for teens, and our teens need us. But there's little kids, 1,700 kids in the system, 1,100 kids in out-of-home care. Over 500 of them are ages 5 and under. And
that's really sad.
I know. And it's not, so what's really interesting when you say that number, people go like, wow, because in their heads, they think, oh, a teen, well, maybe they did something wrong. No, it's not the children's fault that these kids come into care. It's the parents failing to take proper care of them. And when you say that number, that 500 kids are ages 5 and under, then you go like, wow, that really shows you that how could a baby or a 1-year-old do something to deserve to be in foster care? They didn't. It's a failure of the parents to care for them. And the difference is, and I've had babies under 1-year-old. I've had 3-year-olds. Let me think about it. I had a 1.5-year-old, a 1.5-year-old, a brand new, couple-month-old baby. I had a 3-year-old. And then I switched to, I have a 9-year-old right now. I have a 16-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 19-year-old.
Well, and with the younger ones, you cannot take them out with their 4 and under, right? They have to be 5, if I recall. Is that correct?
I don't remember that number. I'd have to refer
Yeah,
back.
last year, one of my cases, 3 of the kids were older, and would take them to dinner or a movie, and I couldn't take their sister. She was 4. So, and again, with that, when you're taking them out, you have to do another special class where you become certified to take them out and carry the paperwork with you, and you have a badge when you go to the school, and you try to stay discreet when you go to the school and things like that. So, we're here trying to get the word out. Everyone, that anyone could do it. So maybe you're thinking of it, or someone you know is thinking of it, that you could, again, go to the websites, fosterpalmbeach.org, that has all of the links on it, right, for all the different, for guardian ad litem. So that's one area, if you can't remember, fosterpalmbeach.org. And again, Speak Up for Kids, pbc.org. That's PBC is in Palm Beach County. And the GAL program, which is the Guardian ad litem, is GAL and then pbc.org. However, as Diana said, one site, fosterpalmbeach.org, has all of the links to all of the other ones there. So,
Including the other programs
Right.
that aren't related to the GAL or Speak Up for Kids. I just put them out there because I don't care. I don't care how people help kids.
just help a child somehow,
Yeah.
some way. And if you absolutely cannot, then you could donate. You could donate funds to
It's
to the
Speak Up for Kids. So
yeah.
one of our great programs. So there's all different kinds of ways to donate. You can donate things in kind. I've had people donate bunk beds recently. You can donate just cash and say, "Here, I trust you. Do what you want to do with it." But some people want to touch and feel it. So our Gift a Birthday program has become very popular.
Wait, what is this one?
It's called Gift a Birthday, and our president, Shaw.
I don't know this one.
Oh,
Okay.
see? So we got to get it out there. I actually was going to work on another flyer. But our president, Shaw Thomas, came up with it. So we asked for a donation of $25, which is going to give the children a birthday cake and a gift card. And so I just put in for my little 9-year-old was 8 until Saturday. And so I put in a request to have the gift of birthday, and I got a voucher that I then used to do a cake and a gift card, because she changed her mind a lot. She wanted books,
And
she
then
wanted
you
My
take
Little
it to
Pony.
them? You take it?
Oh yeah, you take it to them. And so it's a way, the guardian is a volunteer position. You don't get paid. So you run around
You
and
get paid
by heart.
by heart.
By
Yeah,
heart.
You get paid by how they
Yeah.
touch you. It
Does.
It's
But you're
amazing.
always spending money. You're doing this, you're doing that. We always do little things. You drive, it's gas money. So it's nice. And that Gift a Birthday program is a way for people to just help. And it's just a little bit. It's $25. It's not that much. I have a young girl, Karina from, which school is it? Park Vista. She called me last week, and she's in the SGA Association, and they want to host a toy drive. So, and I do real estate on the side, so my Keller Williams office right now is also
anybody could do
hosting
these
a gift
toy drives
drive.
also.
Yeah. And it doesn't just have to be toys. It can be clothes. It can be gift cards. I always say gift cards are just easier to handle. But when you go in the Guardian office. I forgot about another 3-year-old. She always used to. We have these shelves in the office because you go to court. So, and the kids have to come to court. And so this new little girl, I took over from another guardian. She took my hand and walked me to the gal office to where the toys are,
Yeah, they have
so
a
she
box
could pick
of
out a toy.
books and toys and
Yeah,
things like that, and the kids love it when
yeah,
they go.
and
And they have. The last time I went to court, they had a therapy dog in the courtroom.
Oh, yeah, that's
for
really
the
cool.
children, which is amazing. And these judges for these guardian kids are absolutely the most kind, compassionate. You think of going to court, and every time you go, for me, when I've had tickets, you go and you're like, ugh. But then you go for something like this, and as you get to know these judges, and they're amazing and they're kind, and you're used to, even the whole profile of a judge on television or whatever, and then you go for this and you see the love for them and how they really want to know what's best for the child, and it just changes your whole perspective on the system when you see what they're doing.
And it's a voluntary appointment, so they
Yes.
want to be there. Have you ever been to National Adoption Day?
I have. Yes.
And that's beautiful.
So I've been to that. And then a family that I had of the 4 children that were all separated, and 2 in Miami and 2 out in Belglade. Last year, they were adopted by their aunt. And then they asked me to come.
Nice.
So I went to that, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I didn't touch on adoption. So for those of you, so our kids, the primary goal for foster kids, unless something horrific happened, is reunification. So we want to see families together. The Department of Children and Families is not there to separate families. They're there to
No.
make sure the kids are safe.
And they have the programs to
Yeah. To reunify. So the
them.
goal is
Yes,
to reunify.
yes.
But sometimes,
The parents have to work very hard on these programs too, and they have to pass everything. And go ahead,
sometimes we're losing some parents to they can't beat the drug addictions, and so sometimes their rights are terminated, and these kids become available for adoption. And I always get calls: Are there any babies? Are there any babies? The process is the same. Primary goal is reunification. It can sometimes take. It's supposed to happen within a year permanency, but it can take okay. It can take It can take a couple of years to get the rights terminated. But if you wanted to become an adoptive parent, you would attend an orientation. It's the third Tuesday of every month. It's also on the Foster Palm Beach website. It's a one-stop shop. And if you wanted to become a foster parent, again, fosterpalmbeach.org, a guardian ad litem, galpbc.org, 561-355-6224, or donate to Speak Up for Kids, pbc.org. And I promise you, we promise you.
Yes, and you can go onto their Facebook pages as well. So a lot of times just go on there, follow them, see what events are going on.
Like and share. Somebody has the time.
Yes, thank you for tuning in with us this evening. And anything else, please contact us and let us know how we can help you.
Thank you.
This has been Tell Us Your Business, where a special guest comes on every week and tells us what they do. All shows can be seen on amp2.tv, and if you wish to be a guest, call 866-224-5422 and tell us about your business. That's 866-224-5422. This has been an amp2.tv production.